right, and we are back, and ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to sit down with my friend Jerome Balachowski. What is happening?
What's up, buddy? Happy to be here, Chris. Like I said, man, ever since we met in person, it takes some times for me to meet people in person for it to really click what kind of people they are, because it's hard to get energy over the internet and so much misguided energy and so many misconceptions. So after we met in person and hearing about you, man, the first thing I did was put your sticker on my helmet. Literally after me and Sammy and you came back from our lunch break, I wanted to support you immediately. We clicked immediately. And, I'm not saying it doesn't happen a lot with me. I'm a very easy guy to get along with, especially if you do the same things that I love to do. But yeah, you're special, man. And it's an honor as well to see you wearing my stuff. It's a little humble poke, and it looks good on you. You got a nice little room behind you, man. And it's good to be here and long overdue, and timing couldn't be better. So happy to be here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Again, the honor is all mine, Jerome, and everything you just said, 110%. We met at VRR, we clicked immediately, and thank you for all the love and support, man. I always show it back. That's what friends do is they support each other, right?
That's what friends
So,
do, man. And like we rely on that from as humans. Like that'll never change.
nope.
Like I can never get to where I'm at by myself, even there's times where I like to think that, and there's always people helping you. You don't even see it at times. So thank you for always all the help, all the shout outs, all the great energy you give out, man, because it's so needed in this. Because we get wrapped up in a lot of focus and determination and goal crushing, and so much seriousness comes with track and riding bikes in general. And it's nice to have your energy. It's just like I said, man. When I met you, I was like, it was like a globe of aura around you, and I was like, I wish this guy was my neighbor. Like, to go over there and share some sugar with you.
All right.
And that would be great, man. But yeah, no, you're one in a million, bro. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be on the show. And um, yeah, I love it, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate all everything you just said, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's an absolute honor, man. But I want to jump into this story because me and you got a lot to talk about, Jerome. As I always start the podcast, brother, man, where did your journey begin on those beautiful two wheels?
Man, um, I watch your show, and all my homies that come on, and you ask this question, and I always ask myself when you ask them, and I'm like, where did this really start? And I have to go way back to when I was a kid in New York. My father was in some bike clubs up there, the Harleys, the Vets. He was a Vietnam veteran, so he had that click as soon as they got out of war. Um, that's where the brotherhood thing picked up first. I mean, I like the bikes. He came over with nice chrome Harleys, and they were loud. And as a kid, you love that stuff. But to see all his comrades all come in with the same patch, um, my mom would make them all dinner and bring them out lemonade while they're out in the yard just bullshitting. And that kind of where the fascination happened. And I remember walking up and touching my dad's exhaust pipe and burning the shit out of my hand. And that was my first intro. That was pain. And then honestly, I'm big on art. I went to art school for a little bit in my teen years. I'm really big on art, and I used to draw. I used to draw every of my father's friends' bikes that came over, and that's kind of where this started. I used to I don't like to toot my horn, man, but I love art and I love drawing, and everything I've ever done, tattoos, everything I've designed myself. But it started then when I started drawing bikes, and I used to go door to door and sell them to my neighbors one by one. You know,
Love it.
yeah, that was my first grind, was selling pictures of Harleys. And my dad would come home with magazines at times from the dealership, big rate price guy. And he would drop down magazines, and I would flip through pages and find bikes that I love to draw them. And that was a thing. And that's the path I thought I was going to be on. Like I started doing my research on Sportsters and Dynas and all that good jazz, and being in the bike club, being in the bike life. And it all changed. It all changed when I got a friend who shared some videos of Valentino Rossi on the 500 in the bright yellow camel livery, and I'm watching this guy as a kid do things on a bike that just didn't seem human. And I was like, I thought bikes are meant to do that. You know, they sound different. They look, what is this? And I got pulled into MotoGP first. And if anybody that knows me and my group, you know, I started MotoGP and worked my way back. I love WSBK, and Moto America is the thing that I could touch the most. So it's awesome. But MotoGP is just an aura that I fell in love with. And Rossi was the first, just like MJ with basketball. Some people
Yep.
fell in love with MJ before they fell in love with basketball.
Yep.
And you know, I fell in love with Rossi and how competitive he was in that era, before I even knew I loved Japanese and that style of bikes. And you know, if my dad was alive today, R.I.P., he would be like, I love that you ended up with bikes, but how the hell did we get here? You know, like what happened? So and like I wish he was around because he died about 10 years ago, so he never really saw me get my hands into this and see what I was going to be able to do with it. And but that's where it started, man. And then I saw Rossi and I started following that. And then long story short, you know, I was throughout high school, like with my brother, I was really big on muscle cars. You know, I was big on the car shows. Like I would always go to the car shows on the weekends, the doo-wop music playing. That vibe was pinnacle for me. And then once I started following MotoGP, the started shifting. I was on the boards for cars and muscle cars, and then it started shifting to bikes. And I bought my first crotch rocket. I forgot when, man, but it had to be '07, '06, '07, and it was the '06 Suzuki Gixxer that we all had. Everybody had that bike. Once in their life, everybody had an '06, '07, 600, 750. That's
Yep.
just it just determines what color you had and what that, man. But that was my first bike. And when I bought that with a Two Brothers pipe, not, you know, now we know, and um, I crashed it within 2 weeks. I crashed it within 2 weeks, and I couldn't wait to get back on it. You know, when I first got it though, um, you know, money was real tight. I was part time at UPS. Back in UPS days, you had to work there for 5, 6, 7 years
Yep.
full time. So that's was my goal. But up until then, I financed a bike I couldn't afford, crashed it, and then I had to have insurance buy it out. And then after that, though, the bug was implanted, and not a day went by after I got rid of that bike. And that was okay too. Long story short, I was making a U-turn in a very heavy traffic area during lunchtime in my first week of riding, and I made a U-turn and I hit a pebble and the bike just slid out underneath, but it went over the curb into oncoming traffic. And I saw a van coming at me and I blacked out. I woke up and there was a circle of people around me asking me if I was okay. And yeah, I did the cliche thing. I asked if my bike was okay. I'm sure they hated that.
Yeah.
Now looking back on it. Um, but that's when I knew. So, and after that bike, I saved up for I think an entire year. I did overtime, and I went and I financed another '07 all black Suzuki 600, and that was the start of my bike building, bike modding. Because as soon as I got that bike, I joined the Gixxer forums and the bike forums, and I tried to mimic the MotoGP look and try to go down that route because everybody was, you know, putting spike bar ends on their bikes, and I wasn't trying to do that. So, got that bike. I had that for a long time, and put a lot of money into it. And I was thinking I was building it the right way, and that's kind of when the light bulb went off when I put parts on my bike, and people would hit me up and ask me where I got them and why did I choose that, and like things started gelling. And you know, I started, you know, the whole bike club thing in Raleigh for a couple of years, and you know, it's it kind of blew up from there. And then yeah, man, you're taking me down memory lane. There's so much. There's so
Love it. I love it.
I don't even remember being into cars. It's been so long, bike. So since I was 18, 19, man, I've been heavy into street bikes, and now I'm 40, and it's scary to say that. Like, I don't even know where the hell the time went, man. They say time flies when you have fun. And that's what I got to hold on to. I don't remember my 20s, but yeah, that's kind of where it started, man. And like I said, you could talk. It's not enough time in the world to get into details on every little process that got me to where I'm at. But it started with that '07 600 brand new all black, and I modded it the right way, and it kind of moved on. Every bike that I touched, I tried to mimic more and more towards MotoGP and the right parts. And people kept asking me about what should I do, how should I do it, and I'm like, the light bulb didn't really hit until like 2017 of getting my first house, um, and starting it in my garage, and my first banner, Chowski Moto, just um, I guess consulting, modding, and selling parts. Because when I started doing parts, nobody was doing it like they are today. Things have changed dramatically. There was maybe one or two people on the internet selling parts like we do, and then it's so competitive now and so heavy, and everybody has a parts guy. Everybody knows everybody that gets a part. So I was one of the first to do it, man, and it was, and that's how it took. If like today happened and I decided this is what I wanted to do, it'd be extremely tough, because there's so many people out there doing it. It's just like Amazon. If you were able to get Amazon before everybody else got into it, you struck gold. But um, it's just, I let life carry me to this. I was at UPS. Like I said, I was at UPS, first job out of high school, and I never quit. I retired early because I broke my back multiple times, kept doing the whole rehab and this, that, and the third, and it was a circle of death. And so I retired early from that job to start Chowski Moto. Long story short, and um, not looking back, I didn't have many jobs, so I never really quit. And I worked at TPS for a little bit, kind of some stuff in between. But yeah, man, that's kind of where it started. Chris is just all the way back in Harleys, and here we are today, and I'm dabbing in super bikes.
I love it, man. Well, dude, listen, everybody's got their own unique journey, and what a journey you've had, my friend. Absolutely beautiful story. It's it all starts, the grassroots of racing and bikes is dad, right? And then it passes on to the son and daughter, and then you don't realize until 10, 15 years down the road the impact it took a hold of your life and the beautiful people you met in this beautiful circus, right? And
Yeah.
I believe everything happens for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Right. So everything happened to you the way it was meant to happen to get you to the point you are right now in this chair having this conversation with me. Right.
That's
And
absolutely right.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. One of the hardest things for me to do is I practice it every day is to let go of the things that I can't control and focus on the things that I can control. Um,
Amen. Yeah, man.
it's a struggle, right? But dude, 2017, you had you had the vision and goal before you started Trowski Moto in 2017. What brought you to the track?
So what brought me to track? So that's a whole nother story. So I was flipping bikes after that. Chowski Moto started 2017 in my garage, and it started by flipping bikes. I would buy bikes as cheap as I could get them, and we're talking maybe $500 was left on the bone to make a flip, but that was enough for me. And then I would like decide on a budget of what I would put my parts into to kind of make the bike better. And the parts that I chose normally helped the bike sell. And then I just kept stepping up and stepping up. And it brings me to my ex business partner. Um, I met him, and he was selling a V4 at the time, and that was my next bike that I was going to market for Chowski Moto. I was going to buy a V4. I think this was 2018 when they first came out. So it was the new jazz. So I was like, I got to make this leap and jump on this bike. Maybe it'll help the business. A V4 draws attention. And I've always wanted a V4. I just never thought it would be in my grasp. But I'm coming from financing a 600 to defaulting on that loan, learning the hard way, to rebuilding my credit, to now being able to grab onto a V4. It was awesome. So I bought it off him, Zeb, from and then we kept in touch, and he was the track guy at the time. He was going to track days here and there with John Lombardo. Shout out to John, and Kim. That was the first people that I met for track. So with that being said, he knew I had the V4, and he knew I had that track bug, and he knew I was modding the bike the right way, where he kind of said, "Hey, look, man, you want to take it to track? I'll show you around." So that happened. My first track day, I want to say, was 2019, early 2019, VIR South course with Pre. And if anybody doesn't know Pre, all the orgs are great in their own way, right? They're all great in their own way. Just like brands of cars, brands of bikes, they all are great in their own way. None of them are the same, which is great. But with Pre, it's almost like having that strict sergeant dad that if you don't do things the right way, you're gonna get yelled at, pulled to the side, corrected, disciplined, sat out if needed. So I say that in compliment, because I came to Pre is known for discipline, and the whole aura of Pre was, do not go on track trying to be a hero. Do not try to be Rossi on your first day out, because you will be pulled aside, you will be talked to, and if you keep doing things the wrong way, you're going to get pulled. And I like that. That's what I grew up to. My father was strict. I left socks on the floor. It was discipline time, and that's a whole nother generation. So first day there, and I got humbled immediately. Because I was ripping it on the street with Zeb and the crowd, and dibbling into his track people and picking their minds, and like, all right, this is the group that is probably my future. And then we went to track, and the IR South was extremely challenging for my first day on a V4. Like, shit, man. No one told me this.
Yeah. It is a challenging track.
Draggy D was you hit a button and then the bike just does it. I thought, oh, come on, man, what's going on? I'm over here thinking, I'm like this far away from dragging my knee. And when I was on the bike, I felt I was this far away. When Josh sent me, and shout out to Josh, the GOAT, when he sent me his pictures of me on my first day, and I thought I was about to drag elbow. Like, you could have set up a coffee table between my elbow and the ground. And I was like, holy shit, man. Like, I have to really reset how to ride a motorcycle if I'm going to last.
Yep.
And long story short, Pre is one of my favorite orgs. Every time I go there, there's something that clicks. That's, get your shit together, focus. Don't be that guy. And up until this career in my track, I've been blessed not to wreck anybody else's track day. That's been my goal. Like, I crashed out several times, going too fast, being uneducated, not loading up the tire, not checking my PSI, you name it, I've done it. But I've been blessed not to cause another track day rider to cost his day. So that's big for me. So, but ever since that day, it was a wrap. I came back and I saw my tires that were fried on the edges that I've never seen before. And I was on the V4, and anybody who's ridden a V4, especially on VIR South, there's a really long straightaway. And it almost comes up like a little mini Coda.
It does.
It's like turn one on Coda, just like a baby version,
yep.
Where like you kind of come up, and just opening up the throttle all the way on that bike took, I think, 3 sessions, because the balls weren't there. I was like, I don't even know is this bike going to fly away? Because there's so much power. So, but that, him and the crew bringing me to track changed my life. We could go into every other avenue of roller coaster of emotion afterwards, but that changed my life and ultimately put me here, because it's intimidating to go to track by yourself right off the gate with nobody in your corner. Like, you're that one guy sitting by himself at track. And anytime I see that, I usually walk up and introduce myself and let him know that if he needs anything, tools, anything, because when I came, I used everybody. Like, I came with nothing, and I literally built up everything that track takes. So I know how that is, and how intimidating that is, and how financially strapping it is. And it's just a lot. If you want to do this sport, you really have to change up your life. And that goes off of track. I tell people, like, to do this consistently, is more of a feat than to be good for one season. You know, I've been blessed to hit track every year since 2019. Um, one year, I was in a wheelchair, but I was still going to track in a wheelchair just to get that itch. But I've been blessed every year to make it back to track, and that's kind of where the company comes in, because the company started because that first year in 2019, man, I did my taxes. And, when I found out I spent almost 15, 20 grand just on track related stuff and everything that goes into it, gas, food, fees, gear, replacement parts, tires. And I was like, there's no way this is sustainable with my paycheck at UPS. There's just no way. So that's where the company kind of sprouted out, man. And it was formed to help feed the need. I needed another source of income to help me get back to track. I didn't want to work 70, 80 hours at UPS. My body was breaking. So it was a light bulb went off, and hey, look, man, people trust what you offer them with parts. I've had people come in my DMs and just ask for consulting. I'm not no super bike master builder like the Westby race team. You know what I mean? It's just, I think I know what looks good. Every bike can look good in a lot of parts. And I sell a lot of parts, and there's so many ways to make your bike your own, and the kosher way. And the kosher way is so many different ways. We got so many great brands out here that put so much R&D and time into creating parts for us that are supposed to be on the bike that help us while we're riding the bike. And that's where I come in. It's just studying the new parts coming out, being and building great relationships with these companies. I just got on board with Graves. That was one of my big ticket things. And Shane out of Graves, Shane and Rick, shout out to them. Once they got on the phone with me and they heard what I was doing, and they were super, super supportive. And Graves is a very strict company. So that was a big thing for me. So, but just to be in contact with these people, and just to be talking with, some of the big heads, shout out to Emerson at Bobblehead, one of my go-tos, and, Bobby at WSBK and Chris and all that team. Like, everybody has helped me get to where I'm at, just because I feel like the passion, like, I'm not a businessman. I tell people this, I'm not a businessman. It's, I worked a 9 to 5 my whole life. That's what I was raised to do. I was brought up to retire at 65 and cash out your pension and just go live in Florida for 10, 15 years and kind of live that lifestyle. And, I'm glad that, I'm not waiting to chase that dream. And I'm happy to be where I'm at and blessed to be where I'm at. And it's again, I'm on your show. Like, it's kind of surreal, man, So it's great, man. I'm super happy when I asked you to come on, and you were right there to take me on. And good people recognize good people, and that's who I like to keep around. And in this community is very small.
It is.
So you do something sideways or wrong or right, it gets around no matter what. So to still be relevant in this line, in this world that we live in, it's a very judging world that, it's a very morally impacted world. If you're not a good moral character, you're going to get exposed. And
100%.
If you're a track day hero or a wannabe, or you're searching for likes and views, you're going to get exposed sooner or later. So this is what I wanted to do. And God has put me here in this store, which is something that was just a pipe dream. I shit you not. Like, in my garage, I thought that was it. I put my one little banner up and my Harbor Freight lifts, and I thought I was as fucking legit as you could get, and to have a store and to come here every day as work, with a smile on my face. I don't need to make $1 million. I need to just do enough to keep doing this for the rest of my life, and I will pass a happy man. Happy man.
I love it, man. You're so right on that. Us as society, we're born and raised to work that 9 to 5 job and be a slave to the system is exactly what we are.
Yeah, man.
It's unfortunate. Well, one question I do want to ask you, though, going back to your first track day, Jerome, we all experienced this. I was like you. I showed up, dude. I had no fucking clue what was going on. Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely. I didn't have a tent. I didn't have a cooler of water. I had no idea. Right. Yeah. Going out there, first track session. Yeah. You set your ego, and it's such a big slice of humble pie. you know, and that's when you realize I have no idea how to ride. I thought I knew how to ride. I really don't know how to ride, right? And that's when you soak it all in, ask all the questions you can ask, study videos, and take riding and coaching schools, and yeah, learn to get faster. And that's what it's about, you know. I remember showing up for my first race event, and they're like, You don't have your bike safety wired." I was like, "What the fuck is safety wire?" Like, I didn't. It's in the rule book. I didn't read the rule book, right? Like,
Yeah,
what
man.
is that? So I head bowed down, pushing my bike back to tech. Dude comes up to me. He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I had no idea what safety wire was. That's the only thing I said." He's like, "Dude, I got you. This is how you do it." And he's drilling and took it back to tech before I got there, right before they closed, and passed and was like, "Let's go," you know. And that's when I
Yeah.
realized that, you know, when you enter our paddock, wherever it's at in the world, because it's the same beautiful circus all over the world, right? Um, Everybody you meet will give you the shirt off their back, even if you're there for the first 5 minutes and you have questions. That's what I love about it. It's that brotherhood we talked about before. You
Yeah.
know, we went live on this podcast. It's something very unique, man. You know, and sorry to hear about your dad, but thank you for your dad's service. I grew up in the military. My dad was a fighter pilot in the Navy, so trust me, I'm well aware of the whole military upbringing for
It's
sure.
that generation, man.
It
You know,
is, man.
that's kind of where it started. Like I said, like after Vietnam, there was just a wave of rebellious, adrenaline junkie vets, and they cluttered together like the brotherhood and got on bikes and did the Peter Fonda Easy Rider life as much as they possibly
That's
could.
right.
You know?
That's right. I love it. Easy Rider, baby. Let's go.
Hey, bro, it's the OG, man. It's the OG.
Oh, gee. So, you know, you got into track days and then you started doing some club racing. What made you leap into that?
Well, I didn't do much club racing. That was the intent. That was the intent until well, actually, I take that back. My first race was actually last season because every time I got close, I wrecked, and it was a nasty repetitive circle because I would break through barriers, and I would feel super confident, and then something would happen to set me back, and that's kind of a thing, and it happened a lot, and I was at my jam right before my wreck at VIR that put me in the wheelchair. Um, Kind of changed my life in a lot of ways, bad and good. Um, and I never felt more comfortable than before that. You know, I was so gun ho on racing, going all in, and I was with Pit Lane at the time. Me and Zeb were running that, and everything was gelling. Everything was going the right direction. And turn one, brakes locked up, and I bend it high sided, and bike landed on my feet. And I'm sure everybody's seen Sammy was right behind me when it happened. Zeb was next to me, and that was just a gnarly event. And just to get back on the bike after that was my goal, and it was my goal just to get back on and then probably get back off. I wanted just to come back and prove to myself that it's possible. And here I am 2 3 years later, just soaking up every track day that I got.
Yeah.
But the body's fighting it, man. Racing. I did my first gladiator race with Evolve at the end of last season, and it felt great. Body's still not where I want it. I just injuries pile up, and when you're on a bike, people don't realize how much your body does when you're riding a bike. And this goes back to changing your life to enjoy this sport the way we need to enjoy it, and that includes diet and exercise. You can't just roll off the couch and hop on a bike. A lot of people can. I've seen some, some Duhans with the cigarette, and they toss out and they do a 35 at VIR. I'm like, dude, I'm over here huffing down oxygen, drinking vitamin water. Not what's going on? Should I be smoking Camels?
Right.
So, like racing is always the goal. That's where the competitive thing comes in. That's the ultimate. And when I gritted up with them end of last season, it felt amazing. And right after you take off, I'm right back into track day. It felt just like a track day, just with the homies, and they're just a little bit closer. That's all, just a little. It's okay, and that's what I mean. And I love that. I feel comfortable, which is weird too. This is how I know I'm still into this. I feel super comfortable when somebody's rubbing my shoulder right next to me in the turn. Like I know where everything is. I'm not jazzed and I'm not crazy wondering what's going on. I'm not jolting. So I'm very comfortable in close quarters. And that's something you do have to develop for racing that way. Because in track days, you can control that. That's the best thing about a track day. Everybody, I've talked to new people. Some people walk in the store asking about track day. And, track day is very controllable. That's what I tell them first. You can control a lot. There's some things you can't. But as far as mindset, pulling off, knowing your limits, choosing to turn it on, turn it off, all that's a track day. And I tell all the new riders that are trying to get to track, because there's a whole new wave of riders heading to track. Um, and there's a lot of no fear in these new riders, and they come out track and full send it, and just like I did, and they go, oh shit, we got to rebuild our bike. Oh shit, I broke a bone. I'm gonna be out. Oh, what's going on? So, it's man, it's a thing, and like you got to be from a different cloth to really engulf this. You can do a track. I brought people to track that have gone all in track first year, and that was it. It shoot them up and spit them out because they didn't plan for the long game. Track, you definitely have to plan for the long game, and change a lot of things in your life. Otherwise, it's going to be in and out, and probably won't be as great as you need it to be. But it demands it. This is a sport where you can die at any time you go out there. There's people, you're in charge of somebody else's life if you do something stupid. There's so many things that go into this, so you have to be mentally strong, and being mentally strong is needed, because if you're not, it's a very scary experience, and that's where people like you or me come in. And I've been here since 2019. In my mind, 5-6 years is not long at all in anything, but with track, it seems like an eternity, because the people I met when I first came, I feel like it's been 20 years since I've seen their face, and every year it's a new group of people, and that's awesome. It's growing. We're seeing, that's why I'm glad this is happening, man, because these new bikes are coming out. They're bringing new energy. These new bikes are amazing, and they're bringing a whole new energy back to track. And same thing with MotoGP getting sucked up by TNT. They're trying to bring it more mainstream, because to me it is the best form of racing there is. And anybody that I talk to about this, it's like, and I show them a MotoGP race or a Moto America race, I'm like, if you're gonna watch racing, why would you not want to watch somebody dragging their ribs up turn 7 on VIR as pure entertainment, and just knowing the amount as a rider, knowing what it takes to do that is just admiring. It's admirable. So, like I said, man, it's been great. It's that first track day. It's either you hate it or you love it. I know people. I take that back. I've only met one or two that come to track one day and be like, it's not for me, because I think they see the dedication that it's going to take to enjoy it. And you either got it or you don't. And I'm happy to still be around here. I'm still around some OGs that support me, that've been around since day one. And just staying trackside is the goal.
110%. One question I have for you, the whole coming back from an injury at the track, right? It's the whole mental side of it, getting back on the bike. And you said it yourself, I just wanted to get back on to prove to myself that I can still do it, right? So that's that overcoming that little fear hurdle that put up in your mind from that crash, right?
Yeah.
But you achieved it. You jumped on the bike. It's like when I had my wrist surgery from my dirt bike accident, the first thing I said when I woke up is, when can I ride? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, I just want to ride again. Like,
yeah,
forget all this other shit, right? Like, let's go. Again, that all goes back to the love and passion for them two wheels, and the dedication you have for it, right? You want to do anything in your power. It don't matter what's broke. I can tape it. I'll deal with the pain, right? I just want to ride again.
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you, man, coming back, and I don't have the fancy doctors that these star riders come back. These GP riders bounce back so quick, and they fly out to the fancy Italian docks and get some miracle stuff. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous,
Right.
man. But and it's weird too, the way I came back. It's I wrecked at VIR turn 1, 150, 160 miles an hour, and my first day back was VIR at North Course. Shout out to the wifey, Kaylin. She'll be watching this, but yeah, man, without, that's the thing too, people got to think about, man, is, if you're with loved ones and, you know, they go through it with you too. Like I lost count how many times I have to crawl into her car for an appointment and I see her trying to pull the wheelchair out, struggling. And I'm sitting here and can't do shit. And, split seconds come in your brain and be like, is this really worth it? Like, I'm watching my girl struggle. She's got to do this. She's got to do that. And if she wasn't there, like relying on the best friends to come over, which they did. Shout out to them. They know who they are. You rely on a lot of people. A lot of people don't think about that. You got to think about from A to Z, man, A to Z. And you gotta be fully committed, and to come back from an injury like that. And, everybody asks me, why are we doing this? And I'm like, well, at this point, I'm building a business around it. This is my passion. I don't want to die falling down the stairs. I'm not trying to get, you know what I mean? So if there's something I can control, and like you said, like we control what we can, and then what we can't, we just let God, and he does what he does. And there's always a lesson behind it. And the hard part, and a lot of people miss this, is finding the lesson. Like there's so many reasons why I did wreck and was put in the wheelchair. Now I can never run, can never jump ever again. I was big on sports, played football, I played like semi-pro, non-contact, but flag. I played football my whole life. And I was using that as my form of cardio every chance I could, even up until I wrecked. So to have that taken away was a big punch. And it still never halted me from getting back. That's when you got a couple screws loose. But this is what passion does. Like I equate it to being a police officer and getting shot on the line of duty. I would assume they're ready to come back to work and do it all over again, because that's what they signed up for, and they get their joy from helping people overrides getting shot. And the joy of riding. And I mean, honestly, you're about it when you're in your car. And like, my girl gives me shit all the time when I do this. I'll be in my car and I'm getting on the highway and I'm over here just leaning in my car with my head, and she's over here looking at me going, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, it's just every chance I get, it's in my system now. Yep. Everything's an apex now. Yep. Everything's an apex. So
I do the same thing. My wife's like, you fucking goofy dude. I do walking down the hallway. I'll get in the car, I'll be like, She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm riding, girl. What are you talking about?
It's crazy, man. Like, I brought out my neighbor. Like, my neighbor is a really cool person, and she is an OG to Summit. She used to go back in early 90s. And when she heard, when I moved into the condo with the wifey, and she heard of what I was doing, I was actually going to Summit for a vendor job at Evolve GT. Shout out to them. I brought her along with me, and it was one point where she was behind me in the truck. We dropped the trailer off, and we're getting dinner, and we're driving back. And if you go to Summit, it's a lot of windy roads, beautiful, beautiful displays. That's why I love going to Summit, just because the views are amazing when you get there. But when we, she was behind me, and when we stopped, and she goes, I know that you like to ride or / race, because the way you take your turns in your truck was you were clipping apexes and then taking it all the way to the outside of the road for no reason. Yeah. So, it's in the blood. Like I said, if it's not in your blood, you'll get exposed. And this is, hate it or love it. It's one of those things where if it's in your blood, you're going to see the same people around for a long time.
100%.
Like Ron Euler, the painter, like he's one of the first guys I met too in track, and dude is still kicking and still ripping at his age, and I don't see it slowing down. And it's in his blood. It's in his kid's blood. So it's in your blood. Obviously, look at your room. So it's one of our things, man. And I'm happy to be around people who share the same stuff.
100%, man. It's nothing like it in the world. And it's funny because when you first, introduce yourself to somebody at the track, or you see somebody in the store and they say, oh, dude, that's a nice shirt. What race did you go? I've been here. It's like, it's just immediate friendship. It's like, I've known you for 30 years already. Right. I love it, man. I want to get to a couple of these comments. We got Joey Kim up in the house. Welcome to the show. He says, Cancer Kim here. What's going on, buddy? I love it. And then we got Nick Stork. Jerome is the best. Yes, he is. Nick, appreciate you
Nick,
joining
what's up,
in.
man? Shout
And
out to
then,
Nick, man. We're actually supporting Nick a little bit this year as best we can. And again, man, that's cool too. That's another great thing about the job. And what I do is I'm able to help riders get to a certain level, just like other dealers are. But I like to think I'm one of the few that really, we put their priority first. It's a business, and everything is a business, but to help people who have that passion and to help get them to certain places with either sponsorship or whatever it may have you, is great. It's a great feeling, man. It's just like I said again, it's like being in first responder and showing up and saving somebody's life. That feeling of helping in your line of work is very rewarding. And I'm super blessed to be in a line of work where I can help. And again, I do what these guys do. That's the other flip side of the coin. Is the money goes right back into the community, and everybody knows my bike. That's my savings. I mean, that's my piggy bank at this point. All my free money goes to my bike, and everybody knows why. So, yeah, man, it's a big circle of life, and we have to give back. To stay here, we have to give back, one way, shape, or form. I like to think I like to help a lot of people who are really dedicated, the riders, the racers, and use my connections to help them.
I love it, man. I love it. And we also got, of course, K Dub up in the house, hyper naked, bro. What is up? He says, hope to see you back on the grid, Hoss.
That would be great. That would be great. I just, you know what? I think ibuprofen needs to come out and sponsor me because I chew ibuprofens like Flintstone vitamins. And it's not good.
No,
It's
it's not.
I have to
It's
take
not good.
credit for it. It's like, but with the pain that I'm in these days, and I don't wish this type of arthritis pain on anybody. Like my feet sound like popcorn every time I get up, and every few steps it has to reset every time. But it's great to, pain doesn't stop people from doing what they love, and I'm used to pain. I'm sure I'm not alone in the riding community. There's a lot of people in pain that ride these bikes.
100%.
And even
The umbrella's on the top of the house.
Oh, the wind took it? All right, I'll get
Yeah,
it
it's on
once
the
I'm done.
front.
All right, I got it.
I love you.
I love you.
oh, yeah,
Trump says he loves you. That's hilarious.
like a Griswold moment. Go on the roof.
Yeah, our umbrella's on the roof. I'm like, okay, I'll get it after podcast. No big deal, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Love it.
that's fun.
Joe LaPratt says, "What's up, homie? What is happening, Joe?" Yeah, man, it's what you're doing for our community, man. I'm a big advocate, and I say it all the time on the podcast, man. When anybody wants to order something, don't order that shit off of Temu, Walmart, Target. Keep it in the industry, right? Keep people in business because that's what it's about. It's about paying it forward.
Yeah, it's keeping it in the community, and people take that a lot of ways when that's
Yes,
said.
they do.
It's not that we're trying to pitch a sale. It's trackside vendors in particular. There's only a few of us, and the money it takes to get there and support. I don't like the first year or two that I was doing it with Evolve. Again, shout out to Evolve for staying a good relationship with me. Shout out to Gabe. Getting there costs money, but I don't care. I told my CPA, I don't care if I'm in the red when I go to travel. That's where I want to be. That's where all this started, being trackside. And every time I go to track, it's a great experience. You meet friends, you meet people, and you're well known. At this point, I'm well known at Evolve, especially NC Bike. So it's like coming home, and they support me well there. So shout out to Evolve members. They always treat me well. And it's a full circle, man. It's a full circle. It's also a vicious full circle. So it's give and take, right? You can't have bad without good in this world. And you got to take the hits when you get them. I've been taking some hits lately. But I feel that's business. And I feel like when you get to a certain level in business, there's a target on everybody's back. So shout out to people who still support me. And new supporters have been coming left and right, and I love them for that. And doing the store really, like I said, man, it took a long time to do, like long time. So to make this leap and be able to have people support that leap. Like I said, I wake up and I come to work here, and I thought I'd be at UPS, man, until I'm 65, walking up the hill with everything that bends in a brace. Like, I don't know if anybody knows UPS drivers, man, but everything that bends is in a brace when you're about to retire. So I wasn't too excited about that, and I left a lot of money on the table to leave and pursue this, and that's where happiness overrides money, right?
100%.
Like, I'll take a big cut in my paycheck if I enjoy going to work.
Yep.
And up until this point, that's never happened. So I enjoy coming in here, man, and doing what I do.
I'm proud of you. 100% proud of you, my friend.
Thank you.
Love it, dude. I freaking love it. We got Khalil says it's painful how slow Joey Kim is. That's hilarious. And then Joe LaPratt says Khalil's the man. Yes, he is. And then we got Gabe Panero says Joey's not slow. They just take his videos in slow motion. That's hilarious too.
Is that the guy that takes naps?
I think so.
Takes naps.
I think it's hilarious. Oh man. So let me ask you this, man. Obviously you're on the Yamaha R1, right? I love it. It's a beautiful bike. How you built it is absolutely gorgeous. What made you make the transition from the beloved Ducati to the Yamaha? That's all you gotta say.
It's that simple. And I'll be honest with you, the V4 to me still has the most character. Anybody that has a V4, when you turn the throttle, you literally feel the bike go to the back tire. Like, you feel it. You know what I mean? And but I knew that if I was going to be doing this full time and dedicating my life to track and whatever that takes me business wise, because this is what I wanted to do. So if it wasn't going to work, I was going back to the working force, right? So I knew that I needed a bike that sounded like the V4 and had some character, but it had to be Japanese. Because Japanese is, I wouldn't say easier to rebuild. It is. Everybody knows it's easier to rebuild, but it's more parts are available. It's easier to rebuild in the paddock. Usually your neighbor has something you need, and Rossi was on the Yamaha. And then, like I first got on the cross plane in 2010. That's when I first experienced the R1, the Big Bang era. And that sound was amazing. And that's one of the things that I loved about the V4. It sounded that outside inline force noise, right? So that's what I wanted. And the bike to me was the best looking bike at the time. And the first R1 that I got, I actually bought off of an Extra Moto America racer when I started pit lane with Zeb. And we got that, and we put our branding on it. We built it from head to toe and kept crashing it. It just happens. And then I think one year I crashed the 15 that was fully built, and I was getting ready to rebuild again. It was sitting just a motor, because I take everything apart when I crash. It was a bad crash. I took everything apart, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm tired of doing this. So, but at the same time, a guy named Randy who used to sell used race parts. I don't know if you remember Randy. He was pretty famous. I forgot his last name. He's gonna kill me. But he hit me up, and he was wondering if I would sell the bike as is, because it has so many bits on it. He would take bikes apart and part them out, right? That's another business. And I was like, nah, man, this bike's fully built. Why would I want to do that? And at the same time, I had a good friend hit me up about a 2020 R1M that he had bought. Had 100 miles on it, and it's crazy how this happened. And it was an R1M. So right off the bat, I was like, nah, it's not a track bike, which is weird. Side note, I don't know why Yamaha made the R1M the track bike, but it's literally not. It's so, the suspension on it is so restricting. You have to do so much to it to get to there, but that's nonetheless. But if you're doing a track bike, no one really goes to the M. They buy the base and they build it the way they need to build it, right? So he hits me up and he goes, yeah, I just saw my friend get run over on the highway and die, and I don't want nothing to do with this bike. And I'm like, bro, I have a bike. I don't know. I'm sorry to hear this. That sucks. That usually that happens more than most. When you see your friend die on a bike, you're like, yo, this is not worth it. So day or two goes by, he calls me back up and he's like, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. And here I am thinking the new era it's 2020, by the way. So they just came out with the new facelift. which I fell in love with.
Yeah, it's a good looking bike for sure.
I was like, you know what, man, let me go see it. I didn't hear any number over the phone. He's like, just come out and look at it. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. And at the same time, Randy was in my head going, hey, I'll buy your bike as is. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me see if I could make something happen here. So I go out there and I see it, and it's mint shape, like not just 100 miles on it. He didn't do anything to it. Like, no exhaust, no nothing. And he threw a number out that was a little over 10 grand off of retail. Yeah, he was like, this is what I owe on it. If you can give me this, the bike's yours. And the worst case, I was like, in worst case, I can just flip it to a street rider, put that back into the track bike and make some money on a crash. Who knows? So, but long story short, I ended up selling the crash bike in pieces to Randy and took that money and transformed the M into a track bike with pit lane and all of our accounts that way. And that was our kind of feature build at the time, especially because of that carbon bodywork that you've seen. That was probably one of the first seen in the States. And there was like 2 sets sold at that time. And I was one, and some other guy in California was another. And when we got that helped the company. Like everything like the whole thing with pit lane was, I met Zeb and we started that in my kitchen almost. I made this man a sandwich, and he'll attest to this. I made him a sandwich, and he was like, yo, we'll go 50-50. You're dealing parts. I see that. I want to do service. I have resources. Let's do this thing. And I was like, all right. So, I was the sale guy. I was trying to market the guy. I was the guy with the trick bike at the time that we could use as a marketing tool to help show people what we can do. And that's how that started. So, and we just, every time I crashed that bike, I just replaced it with something better. And we're talking almost 6 years now on the same bike, and I've crashed it 7 times. And the frame is still fine. It's insane. Go Yamaha, right?
Right.
I don't have any issues with that bike, man. But I got almost 4,000 track miles on that bike now, and 3,990 are all track. So, and it's gotten to a point now where I'm probably never selling it. So, and then yeah, man, it's just one of those things where every time I've wrecked, I didn't look at it as a WTF. This is not fun. I looked at it as an opportunity of what I did wrong, and then what can I upgrade on the bike moving forward instead of just rebuilding it. So, and that's the whole form of the business, right? So, and that's kind of how that started, my man. It just snowballs. Like I left it in God's hands with that one on this whole career path, and it snowballed into what we have today.
I love it. It's, again, I said it. You are where you're meant to be at, my friend. It's yeah, dude, I love it. And your bike is absolutely one of the best looking bikes I've seen. I fucking love it, dude. It's definitely unique. So
yeah, I love it, man. I wish I got into the sport 10 years earlier. I really do.
We all do, right?
Oh man, even like 5 years earlier, just because I was in such good shape from sports and all that, and I feel like I finally found my ground in track days when my body started to break down. And it sucks because the mind's there, right? The mind is still there. That's one thing I was worried about after the crash was going into turn 1 at VIR the first time, bro. I was shitting bricks. I was like, man, is my brakes going to hold up? Is it going to overbite again? But I took the turn 1 like I normally do. And after that, I was like, okay, we're back.
I'm good. Yep. I'm good. Yep. It's that mental barrier you just breached, right? You're like, I'm good now. Yeah. I love it, man. So let me ask you this, dude. What's the future of Balachowski Moto, my friend?
Well, up until moving into this store, I was at a ceiling just being a track day vendor, which to me was fine, right? But because that's what I wanted to do. Like the store is great. I love the store, and this is what's needed to grow. But still continue to be trackside because I like being around my people. I like going there. I like walking back from the shower with a towel on, going back to my trailer. It's a whole vibe. So doing that, but store-wise, there's nothing like this around here with what I'm doing outside of a cycle gear. So I'm building a lounge out here, like a lounge and display room. I'm going to be hosting GP watch parties when it's all said and done. But another place where riders can come to and pit stop, grab a Red Bull, look at the stuff I have on for sale, because it's the stuff I'm putting up for display is not at Cycle Gear or another bike stop unless it's a track related store. And I don't see another store like this around here. So the future is seeing where this takes me, the store takes me. Because like I said, it's a very small niche world in a very uncertain economy. We never know what's going to happen. Like at one point, we thought track days were going to go bye-bye after COVID.
Yep.
That was a real thing.
Yep.
Like we started Pit Lane in 20, and I was like, yo, we're starting a company when everybody's at home scared to do anything, especially spend money on a $2,000 exhaust. Like, what are we doing? But it went the opposite way. You know, I've learned that if it's their passion, they'll find a way to do it. They'll find a way to get there. And there's people like us that are needed to help them. So, versus the big mom and pop stores, they had to start somewhere too. And I respect that. But trackside vendors is kind of where I like to put my nose in and be like, if there's a trackside vendor, it doesn't have to be me, but trackside vendors need support. Just like how great riders without sponsor support need that. There's no good rider right now that doesn't have a good sponsor backing to get to where they need to get to. This is the name of the game. So the future of this store, man, and basically I tell people it's basically my man cave, but a store up front. This is my bedroom. This is my garage, just with a retail address and a giant mortgage now. So that's the only difference. But the plan is to we're in talks with the owner to own the building we're in, because we want to be here a while. I love the location. And the owner is a blessing in disguise too. I've been searching for places for about a year, and around Raleigh, Cary, you're looking at $4,000 plus. And for a store like me, that just doesn't make sense unless I'm going to hire people, do service, do every nook and cranny to pay that bill. And I didn't want to burn myself out. I've seen people do it. That's just not what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure the focus was trackside. So I didn't want the store to slow that down. And then me riding, racing, I know business is business, man, and you got to do what you got to do, but people tend to forget what got them there. And me riding and loving bikes and going to track. When I'm at track, shout out to all my customers. I should make announcements that I'm at track and I can't respond to people, but a switch goes on and the business side goes off. And I'm there to help people. I'm here to help my crew, and I'm here to focus on riding, and I'm here to get a little bit better than I was last time, and to get home in one piece, like all in one. And I don't want that to go away. And I didn't want to overburn myself at that. So Balachowski Motors is going to be offering tire services, because it seems a lot of people around here don't know how to change the slick. I've seen some horror stories. So I'm going to offer tire swaps, but no full service unless it's a supported guy that I'm helping out, or I bring a bike back home from track and work on after hours. Just trying to stick to the niche market, man, because that's what I love. It's what I know. I don't know dirt. I don't know Harleys. I come from street bikes, but I'm at home with super bikes and track. So whatever that takes me, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And if God wants to take me another way, I'm getting a lot of walk-ins. I may have to hire somebody at this point to sit up at the front desk while I'm out traveling, because I'm going to be on the road. After May, I'll be on the road every weekend if I'm not working or riding, all the way up until early October. So, that's the future, man. And again, just want to make enough to keep buying a back tire and pay my doors to stay open and keep some Red Bull in my fridge, and we will be happy.
I love it, man.
I'm so basic, bro. Meat and potato kind of guy.
I love it, dude. What you got any new products that you got in? Anything new and interesting you got?
New and interesting, I wouldn't say interesting. New, just like getting this allows me to go direct. Everybody knows that. There's no secret. So slowly but surely getting accounts left and right to get my store self-sustainable is the goal, and I'm almost there. So everybody I've reached out to is happy to work with me. Like the latest and greatest was Graves, and to get that kind of helps you cement a little bit. But product wise, everything under the sun that you could think of that goes on a super bike, I'm trying to offer, and that's no secret. So and if I can't get it, I have connections to where I can, and push people in that direction if I can't get it. So just to make sure the person stays on the right path, even when I can't help them.
I love it, man. I love it. It's yeah, man. Bro, we're an hour into this already. I told you it was gonna go by quick, man. It always does.
You have fun, right? So
Bro,
yeah, man, like it's I'm glad this happened now because I got a lot more to talk about, and it's awesome to be live on your show. Like I said, man, I YouTube you all the time. I rewatch episodes of all my homies, including Sammy. Shout out to Sammy. And shout out to Mario, everybody I've watched over and over just to make sure I don't, you know what I mean? I do a good job on here.
Love it. Oh my God. Listen, I want to transition into the next part of the podcast where I ask you some personal questions and we get to know who Jerome is away from Trowski Motors and the racetrack and all that. But me and you, my friend, are definitely going to sit back down at towards the end of this year and rerun this. We'll recap the whole season, where the business has gone and how much it's grown since then. So I can't wait. I wish you all the best of luck. And I know I told you this before, but whatever visions and dreams you have in this company and in life, just in life, right? I hope you achieve it 10 times over, my friend, for sure. You're welcome. First question I have for you, man, is tell us something we don't know about Jerome at all.
Oof. Okay. This is going to be weird. Something you don't know. I'm a huge gamer. I'm a huge gamer nerd. Yeah, I'm a low-key nerd. God took my hair, and I just love tattoos. But I'm a low-key nerd. You know what I mean? Me too. Yeah. I didn't choose to have, to have that whole badass look, but God helped out in my genetics. But nerd. I love games. I love playing chess. Chess is my big thing. I play a lot of chess. Outside of that, man, outside of bikes, I'm pretty boring. Like if you want to find me and murk me, I'm not a hard person. I have a routine. It's like, yep, there he is. You know what I mean? So I get up at 5. I get up at 5. I do the gym, and at that point, I do the gym just so I can move the next day. That's the focus for gym now. And I come here and I try to do something that I didn't do yesterday. Try to do one less mistake than I did yesterday. And that's it, man. But weird stuff, I don't know if it's super weird, but yeah, outside of being a gamer nerd, my music choice is probably a little weird. All my homies that are in the paddock with me, shout out to them for listening to my DJ mixes. It goes from 50s all the way to 2010s, bro. You don't know where I'm coming. So just very open-minded is something that like a lot of people have me pegged for certain things. The whole judging before you talk to somebody is the thing. It is what it is. But there's a lot of things that people are surprised that I do or whatever. And yeah, it's nothing too shocking, man. I don't have no Batman alternate life. I wish I did.
Right, me too, man. I'm like you. I'm pretty boring, simple. You can find me anywhere. I'm not hard to find at all, right? If you
find me, man, I'm not trying to hide either. So
no, absolutely not. Well, let me ask you this: what game are you playing? I'm actually playing Assassin's Creed Shadows right now. Is what I'm on.
Funny you ask, because I'm on the verge. I just bought it and it's downloading, but I'm going to be playing that Crimson
Desert.
Yeah, bro. I'm big on RPG. I was big on The Witcher. Like The Witcher ruled my life, and it still kind of does. Games like that. Then I play MotoGP 25 now until the new one comes out. I'm big on MotoGP. I love that game. I'm not saying it's an actual simulator, but it definitely gives you an idea of loading up the tire. You know what I mean? But game wise, that I'm big on RPG. I'm big on sports. So football, Madden, and MotoGP, hockey. Big hockey buff. Go Sabres. 18 years of being a shit team. Now they're one of the best. So it's us Buffalo sports fans go through hell, bro. I don't know if you realize it. But
I do. Especially when y'all Buffalo Bills, I remember they went to the Super Bowl 4 times straight and lost all 4 years.
I'm glad I wasn't my age when that happened. Because and like I tell people, this is why people from Buffalo drink. I don't drink just because it affects this.
Yeah.
But this is why we drink. You go to Buffalo, there's a bar on every corner because there's like we're always getting up that cusp, and then something happens. And going 4 times and losing 4 times, I don't even know what the media would do. They would have a meltdown. They would have, like, Trump would have to say something. That's how big it would get these days. Like, they lost again? You know what I mean? So, but again, though, man, being from Buffalo, it's one of those things too, where it's like you really you got to grind to get out of there, or at least do something. It's a very tough town to grow up in, and there's not a lot there. So the mindset of being a grinder and pushing through when the bullshit is at its most. I've been doing this for a long time. Outside noise does not affect me in ways people think it does. It actually motivates me. And, there's times where you hit walls and you got to do a plan. I'm at a few walls right now. I don't want to get into it, but it's one of those things where it makes you, I don't sit there and cry and say, why? Now I'm trying to find a solution around the wall. So it's taught me. And then again, losing both parents before 35, and, actually it costing you money to put them in the ground versus getting a check. So it's everything that puts you up to pushing through the bullshit is something I'm not a fan of, but I go through it all the time. So being able to do that is the thing from Buffalo. Everybody I meet from Buffalo has been through hell, it seems, in one way or another. It's just that town. It's a cursed town. I swear, I shit you not. It's not. It's funny, but it's not, man. It's like, shit, man. Just give us a championship of some sort, even if it's lacrosse. Give us something. But it's the mindset, man, and I'm happy I come from that, because again, if I wasn't mentally strong, it would be a different story today, especially. 100%. So it's one of those things, man.
Well, good, man. It's it's good to stay strong in between the chapters. And again, that goes back to what I said earlier, is let go of the things you can't control and focus on the things you can control to hurdle that obstacle in your way, or whatever it is, to get around it. The more positive you stay, the more positive people you have in your corner, I don't want to say the easier it is to deal with, but almost, yes, it's easier to deal with, right? Yeah. We often find that, and I say it all the time, dude, life's a double-edged sword, no matter how you look at it, right? There's always a positive, and you look at the positive and you're like, fuck it, I'll deal with the negatives there. But sometimes that negative outweighs that positive you just made that turn on, right? So now you're stuck with dealing with that. So it's
yes, you're right.
Yeah, man, 110%. Khalil says, you clearly haven't seen my SV, Chris Simcoe. Well, shoot me a picture there, Khalil. And then he has a question. He says, cut or uncut? Cut. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, cut. There it is. Cut. Let me ask you this: what's our go-to karaoke song, bro?
That's a good question. If I have enough alcohol, and that's tequila, I'm a tequila guy only if I'm drinking. Probably "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey.
Love it, dude.
Because how do you not rave out to that if you're drunk,
bro?
Like if someone's singing that at a karaoke, I don't care if they're murdering it. Everybody's singing the high note, and that's crazy, man. Because I haven't done a karaoke since my teenage years. But you give me a couple of shots of Patron, and I will sing the shit out of that and pretend everybody is in their underwear in the room.
Yep. I love it, dude. Dude, that's such a Teddy Swims absolutely did a version of that song and he murdered it.
I'm a fan of Teddy, man. I love Teddy Swims, man.
Me too. Frank Sinatra, I'll be jamming Frank. People are like, what are you listening to? I'm like, how do you not know Frank Sinatra? What are you talking about?
My girl was huge on Frank. Her condos got a lot of Frank flavor in it. So, but if you like Frank Sinatra, I feel like music choice says a lot about you, right? And it has a lot of influence on you, the way you're thinking subconsciously, and if you're listening to Frank, there's something in your brain that's sparking, and every music has its time and place. Like I said, I got every spice of flavor of music on my iPhone. I'm about to say iPod. Holy shit. On my iPhone.
Taking it back, Jerome.
When that dropped, my life changed, man. I was that guy carrying the giant CD in his gym pants.
Me too.
A mile away, and someone would bump me and skip. I'd be so mad. Yeah. So it's the iPod changed my life. That's one of the best inventions ever. When that came out, I was like, "You tell me I could add 2,000 songs on this thing,
bro?" I'm in.
Well, yeah, no, music is a theme, man. And like honestly, a track, I bring that to me now. I've learned that I always have music going, whether you hate it or love it. Music in the background breaks the tension. If that song comes on that everybody's vibing to, they start nodding their heads, they get comfortable. Anytime you're in the garage with me, a VIR, or Paddock with me, I'm always going to have music going because music brightens up your day. I live through music. Like music is a lot of therapy goes through music for me, because there's always a song that relates to you, right? And it talks to you. And during track days, when you're so focused on PSIs and what time you're going out and all that jazz, having the music going in the background is a nice it's a nice settler. If no one's brought a boom box to your paddock yet, please do. It'll make your track day a lot better. Plus, everybody around you seems to enjoy music too, man.
100%, man. 100%. Let me ask you this: what's your worst habit?
Oh, this is easy. I pick my nails really bad, and I've learned I do this when I'm thinking really hard or playing Madden. There's no in between. It is so weird. Like my girl wants to buy me gloves. It's weird because I like in between play calling, I'm sitting there going, "What should I do? What play call are they doing?" It's like even when I'm watching football, the nerves are running a mile a minute. I mean, I don't know if I have ADHD or OCD. Everybody seems to have any days, but I don't take nothing for it. So it's just I deal with it. But my worst habit, man, would be that. Yeah, I don't. Outside of that, man, I like to think I don't have much bad habits. But
Right. Hey, just
I
bring
think
your girl in. She'll tell you all about it, right? My girl would too.
ask the wifey or the homies that question. See what they say. That could be funny.
Oh, my wife would walk in here right now and be like, "He does this, this, this,
You
this,
lying?
this, this." Yeah, you lying. Stop lying. I love it, man. Everybody knows, dude, I love to cook, right? So I went on this big weight loss thing about 2 years ago. I was almost 280 pounds and a 40-inch waist. I'm in a 34. I could probably fit 33s right now. I'm down to like 191 on the scale. It's all by
way more than you. How is that possible?
I don't know, right? But it's all about changing my mindset, changing my diet, listening to what my body was telling me as I eat food, started not buying, salad dressings at the store, making my own, all that good stuff in between. So nutrition is a big thing. I always watch what I eat. I don't eat these big portions anymore.
Yeah, man.
I eat small portions, and people are like, "That's all you're gonna get?" I'm like, "This is all I need.
Yeah.
This is it. This is all I need to survive. I don't need to be so full to where I'm, oh, I don't want to do anything. I just want to throw up. I eat until I'm not hungry, and then I just stop eating.
Your body talks to you all the time, man.
All the time, constantly.
People, it's hard to hear it if you're not listening for it. And if you're eating food, your body will tell you when to stop.
Yeah.
Just a lot of people just don't even see it. They just roll right by.
I think a lot of people ignore themselves.
That too.
It's you just got to be aware. It's just it all started with me when I noticed I was eating something and it started making my nose really stopped up. I was like, wait a minute, there's something in here that's not coincide with my body. That's what kind of started me on this path. Plus, I wanted to lose weight, right? So, yeah. Which speaking of, my question along with all that is, do you cook a lot of home cooked meals?
My diet is probably what you wouldn't expect. It is very plain and very bland. So I don't do a lot of meal prep, but I eat a lot of high protein, very easily accessed food. So, I mean, we may do some chicken, we'll do some meal prepping, but honestly, it sounds really bad, but my diet after hours sucks. I love candy, bro.
Do you really?
Yo, bro. So like all day I'll get up and I'll do the banana, I'll do the oatmeal, I'll do my supplements, gallon and a half of water, everything I'm supposed to do and take, protein shakes, you name it. But after dinner, and me and my girl sit down to watch our shows late at night, dude, I'm eating a whole bag of Warheads. I'm killing the whole bag of cook. I don't know what comes over me. It happens every night, and I'm addicted to sugar, and that just is what it is. And I tell my girls, like, if that's the one thing I'm addicted to, that's better than anything else. But I got to get that out of my system, man. But no, I have some weird eating habits, but I train really hard at the gym these days. I don't leave the gym unless I've sweated a good bit. I've dropped a lot of weight, as in far in pressing a lot of weight. I've changed my workouts to be more rider friendly. I used to weight lift and power lift and all that, and that'll just break down the body. And that is what it's doing. But now I'm doing things to help me ride, help me be more mobile, core, legs, body weight. I haven't gone over 225 on a bar in God knows how long, and I haven't needed to. So, yeah, man, it's if you're gonna have a so-so diet, you got to combat it with really good exercise. So my goal is getting rid of sugar this year, and that's hard.
tough.
That's hard and crack, bro. Like I can't I've tried it. Like at track, I bring really good stuff, right? But when I get home, my body gets the shakes for an airhead. It's weird. So I'm trying to shake that this year. That's one of my goals. Hitting 40, man, is definitely your body's like, okay, this is like a car with like 180,000 miles on it. Is it a Toyota or is it a Ford? We don't really know.
Right.
You
You need some maintenance, right? Which is
bro. Like the
healthy.
engine light is on right now. I'm just hoping it's like emissions and not a throw rod. But yeah, no, man, diet again. Just like you said, man, congrats on that because that's tough. Because if I can't quit the candy bag and that's all I really have to do, I can imagine people having to really redo their whole diet. And dude, that's tough. I don't think people
dedication.
How tough that is, man.
It's mental.
Because food is so easily accessible.
It is. And
you could hop back on the wagon at any moment and just destroy months of work in a couple of days. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, man, kudos to you because, you are what you eat. And at the end of the day, your body, you only get one body. And I put a lot of money and supplements into the body. And it's just basic stuff that people just don't do. I've never not taken my vitamins, and certain times of the day I break them down now. I've gotten to that level of breaking down my vitamins. I don't just take a multi, I take 3 or 4 throughout the day so they don't overlap in ways where they're not being absorbed. And water intake is so underrated. Like water intake, man. So if you're not drinking a gallon of water a day, that's where you need to start. And that's where weight loss really starts too, is water. If you flush your body out with water, you'd be surprised how far you get with just that. So
that and fasting.
Yeah, no, I do that. Fasting comes for me on a Sunday up until Monday afternoon. I usually kind of starve myself a little bit, flush everything out my body that I put in it. And I usually fast for maybe like 5 to 10 hours on a Sunday. That's fasting for me because I eat every 3 hours. Because I grew up, again, powerlifting, training my body to be hungry every 3 hours. And that's what you need to do to get calories. So doing completely opposite now. And I'm in the best shape of my life, minus all my injuries. It's just, I wish they overlapped the other way, so, but it is what it is.
It is. You're right. Soda. I mean, I don't drink soda. I drink water 99.9% of the time, but my biggest weakness is I'm a sugar head too, is Sour Patch Kids, bro. Every time I go to the store, I look at them, I'm like,
started on them, bro. I get and I eat so much of those.
Dude, I fucking love Sour Patch, but I hardly ever buy them. But there's times I'm gonna walk in the store, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy me a bag of Sour Patch Kids. I'm only gonna have 4 or 5.
Premeditated like murder. It's like, okay,
yeah, dude.
Put out there, I'm gonna look at it. You know what? I'm gonna make my decision then. But with Sour Patch Kids, I'm a candy freak, so I'll kill the whole bag, and then I like the powder that falls to the bottom, bro. I'll dab it. Like that pixie stuff we had when we were kids, just. Diabetes. So I feel you on that. And that's hard to give up, man, even though it's complete junk.
It is. And the problem is too, is there's sugar in almost every fucking thing we eat now. Natural sugar is good, like your strawberries and your peaches and your fruits and stuff like that. It's the unnatural sugars that's just fucking horrible for you.
Yeah, man.
That and the fruit pectin and all that bullshit, man. I
got this app on my phone. I forgot what it's called, but if you scan the barcode at a grocery store, it tells you how bad it is on a scale from 1 to 100. And I try to scan a lot of the shit that I'm eating. And if it has any red in it, like a red alert means it's chemicals and cancer causing. Yeah. I just try to stay away from things that have red in it. I don't scan any candy bags.
We don't need to because we already know it's going to be red.
I don't know, bro. It'll be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I don't need that energy in my life just yet. Candy is going to be one of the last things I get rid of, and it's coming soon. I'm just trying to put it off as long as I can.
I found that with everybody's body's different, Jerome, right? So not everybody's way of losing weight and blah, blah, blah is going to affect everybody the same. So what I've come to find out with me in particular is I'm okay with doing some candy, but just in moderation, not every day, not all day long. If I do it once a month, I eat a bag of Sour Patch Kids once a month. Yeah, it's still bad for you, but I'll survive, right?
You
It's
know,
so
it's crazy too, because I've met people that are so clean and marathon runners, and they'll fall over from a heart attack at 50. It's almost like you don't know. And then I know a guy who can smoke a pack of cigarettes for a day, I mean every day, and live to be 90. So it's like it's balance, right? Like candy's bad for us, but if you're so disciplined and you reward yourself, man, you're gonna go when your time is to go, and try to have some fun. Don't take all the fun out of it. I know there's a lot of things that we're not supposed to be doing, but if it generally makes you happy, not crack, but if it generally makes you happy, find a way to keep it in your life. Because at the end of the day, man, you got to be happy. That's what led me here. I left UPS because I wasn't happy. I left TPS because I wasn't happy. I left pit lane because I was not happy, and I chased happiness to get here, and content and moral safe space, and that I think everything else follows. When you chase what you love to do and you ultimately want to be happy doing it, you're going to get rewarded with some type of money to keep you alive. You may not get $1 million, but God will reward you one way or another if you chase happiness and what you're supposed to be doing. And honestly, a lot of people don't even know what they're supposed to be doing in this world. So I never knew until I went to track. Bro, it was up in the air. I thought I was UPS, so I was done, and that wasn't going to happen. So you never really know what's going to happen. So whatever it is you love to do, just keep doing it, and sooner or later, God will reward you one way or another. You know what I mean?
it'll work itself out for sure, 110%. My next question for you is, brother man, I listen to a lot of audio books. I'm currently listening to The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is a fucking amazing movie if you haven't seen it yet. Do you listen to any audio books or read?
I do read. I don't listen to any audiobooks. I should be reading more, but with the business, if I'm on my phone or looking down, I'm on my phone 8 hours a day now, just for business alone. I don't even have time to bullshit and scroll. But if I'm sitting down to read a book, I love a good book. If I can get myself into that headspace of shutting out the world, which is hard to do in my world, it really is. Because again, so cutthroat. You got to be available. You got to be available these days. That's how you stay relevant. So, but if I'm able to shut off the world, like I go to the beach house with my girl and we're on the beach and we're just zenning out. I love. This is weird too. This is probably no weird fact. I love the history on the Holocaust. I read a lot of books with that, and one of my favorites is Nights by Eli Wiesel. And I've read that book maybe 5 times over, and I'm reading it right now. For some reason, I keep reading that book over and over. Then there's another book that I was reading a couple months ago called The Art of the Sale, just to help expand my business mind. Because again, I don't come from a business family. I wasn't even talked to about college growing up. My counselor never came up to me about college. My parents were like, you graduated, go get a job, help out. So I never had a chance to really explore a lot of things. You know what I mean? I kind of just went where I was told to go. And I learned recently, within the last 5-6 years, that I don't like being told what to do if I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? So book wise, man, I'm big on war. I love war stuff. I think war is the only thing that's ever solved anything. And if people were studied up on war and all the wars and what happened, how we got there and what resulted, this, that, and the third, better understanding of a lot of things and how people have their mindset. But book wise, I want to start the book Dracula. I bought the actual authentic one. It's like this fucking thick. I want to start reading that, but it's hard to get in the headspace with a good book unless I'm on vacation. I'll be honest with you. I'm always in work mode, and I'm not hating that because I love what I do, but it definitely is a tax to what I do. And that is, I'm on my phone. I'm available to customers. I'm trackside on the weekends. I'm trying to ride, race, do this, do that. It's hard to sit down and then just say, fuck it. And then get into a book or get into another headspace to kind of zen out. So me and my girl would try to take a vacation twice a year. We just came back from DC, and I'd never been there. And like we went and we saw the Smithsonian's museums, and I'm a big museum buff. I love museums. I love history. So, and then I also love Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller. Is one of my favorite movies. So when I went there, I was literally living it through his eyes. Like, this is where the freaking dinosaur with the bone ran this way and blah, 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 blah. So going there and creating memories in DC, which to me was a beautiful, beautiful town, man. Just you felt like you were in politics, just sitting in the park. You know what I mean? So doing things like that, I wish I could do more. I really do.
Yeah, I used to go to DC every year for the 420 festival. I haven't I haven't been for a couple years because I'm going to Road Atlanta, right? But I think next year I'll skip that and go back down to the 420 festival in DC because it's always a good time, right?
Oh man, one of the reasons I love you, Chris.
I love it, man. I love it. Let me ask you this podcast, man. Do you listen to any podcasts at all?
No, just no time. Anytime I'm on a computer, I'm either work mode. But if I had to listen to a podcast, I like Joe Rogan. I just like the way he thinks about shit. He's a smoker too. So it's the same mindset. And he's a very intelligent guy. He's also all over the place. So it's just entertainment to me. But podcast, that's about it, man. I'll be honest with you. And then yours.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah. I
YouTube subscription, my guy. I got 5 subscriptions on my YouTube account. You're definitely one of them. So yeah, dude. It's I wish I could do a lot of things more, but it's just, the time for everything that'll come.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say is it's been hard for me to learn exactly what you just said earlier, is to step back and just focus on me sometimes, because I'm either doing video chats or phone calls to set up a podcast, or I'm at work, or, how do I juggle all these things? And I forget to sit back and just turn everything off and just have some me time. Right. So I've been doing that. It's been a struggle like it is for a lot of people, but I find that when I do it, whether it's for 30 minutes, dude, I'm so much happier. Just cutting everything off, putting the phone down, just walking away and just turning it all off, right? I feel like nowadays the world's not like it used to be. We're all a slave to this fucking thing, right?
I'll tell you, man, I love it because I'm able to have a career. And again, if I had to go back to the workforce and do labor, I would be effed, because if you watch me walk, you know why. So this is literally the only thing that would keep me afloat, because I don't know what else I would do. I'll be honest with you. But I do miss the days of just having to call somebody and saying, "Hey, is so and so there?" And they're like, "Hey, come get the phone." And the phone was not what it was. And granted, it's allowed us to build another life through it and be mobile, which is a blessing. But I do miss I sound like an old geezer, but I do miss the old days, bro, where we had to sit down in front of the TV and be there at a certain time to watch the show that we wanted, versus just recording it and doing it when we want. So I do miss that type of commitment of sitting down, family time. Everybody's on the TV table watching The Simpsons at 5 o'clock. I grew up with that. And then Monday Night Raw, I grew up with that. You know what I mean? So, and I miss the collectiveness of, hey, it's on in 10 minutes and commercial break, you go take a piss and you back. And even though that wouldn't work for most of us today because we're all so busy, I do miss that it forced us to stop and spend time with family, commit. And the phone, man, it's the rise and downfall of us.
It's a double-edged sword.
I believe, man, there's a whole bunch of things that came horrible from having that type of power in your hand, but I'm blessed to use it to where, it keeps me off the streets and doing what I love to do.
100%, man. That's something that, it's funny you said that. Back in the day, right? We used to run and watch TV. We didn't have the phone. We had the dial-ups, right? But now it's like me and my family, my wife and my son, we'll do a family night, and we set all the phones down on the table, right? And we just sit down and be in the presence of everybody instead of being on the phone while we're watching TV or whatever. It's a good thing.
Yeah, man. You go back and look at pictures. No one's on their phone, and everybody has to talk to people. And everybody has to interact and has to be sociable and function. And we're so okay. COVID got everything up, bro.
Yep.
It made people be real safe, not communicating with people. And that's not what we're not meant to do that as a human race. We're not.
No.
We're adapting to hiding behind a screen and saying stuff that we think that has no repercussions. But if it wasn't there and you had to say that in person, it does. And it gives people a false narrative. But again, though, we try to be positive. But just like Ben was Spider-Man, man. With everything with great power comes great responsibility, right? And the phone is a great, powerful device in your hand. And watching movies from back when we were kids about the future, like Judgment Day with Dredd, like there was a futuristic Taco Bells and futuristic cars and clothes. No one ever focused on a futuristic phone, and that's what we got. We're over here expecting cars to be hovercrafts and Taco Bell to be floating over a river, but in reality, future has brought us to the phone, and it's a double-edged sword, man. It can destroy you or it can make you. It really can.
110%, man. 110%. Let me ask you this, man. What's on your bucket list, bro?
My bucket list. This is gonna sound really pathetic, but because of the injuries, I tell everybody, even Chip from YCRS, shout out to Chip. I love riding with Chip. Is to do a track day, all my sessions until the final flag. That's my bucket list. And it's simple for a lot. And that's why I haven't divulged into racing, because the mind's there, the balls are there. I feel like I could be somewhat competitive, but the body gives out after like 4 or 5 laps, right? So I'm trying everything under the sun to help my stamina finish my sessions, all my sessions. Because I can't even imagine if I did all my sessions and every time they called our group, I would be so much of a better rider. So just the bucket list would be getting on the bike to where I don't have to come off early because of pain and everything locking up on me. And if it's not one thing, it's another. Like my feet are not, it's a big problem, but they're not as a big a problem on the bike. Then the back comes in, then the carpal tunnel comes in, then the shoulder comes in, and the lower back pops up again. So it's just one of those things, man. So bucket list with me would be like stretching out my track day times and making sure I'm out there. And then when that comes, the sky's the limit as far as bikes, track days, club racing goes. There's no way to commit to anything like that if I'm not even putting the time in.
Yeah.
So that's my bucket list.
Do you do any ice baths?
I take cold showers. It's hard to do in the summertime just because the groundwater is not cold, but I'm a fan of ice baths. I'm probably going to get one here for the shop. I just haven't had room. I live in a condo, so I haven't had a room to put that in there. But ice baths help me. I take cold showers. I freeze my face once a day in a cold tub. So I'm trying everything, man. And the only thing that really works right now, again, is like chewing on some ibuprofen to subside the pain. And but again, like if the body could cooperate with me, and I think I could get it there. That would be moneymaker. I'd be happy with big and shit.
You'll get it there, my friend. 110%. Listen, we're almost an hour. We're actually over an hour and 30 minutes into this podcast.
I got low battery on my computer, so I don't want to just shut off on you, man.
No, you're good.
Charger, but this computer's battery is ass. So
dude, we're good. We'll get off here in a second. Last question I have for you, and then we'll give all our shout outs. Dude, who you got in the MotoGP race this weekend at Coda?
Dude, I need Mark to win it just because of what happened last year. But the fact that Mark won the championship, to me, I don't care what he does anymore. The fact that he came back, won the championship in a dominant fashion, cemented his legacy to me. So I'm not like last year, I'm rooting him on, hoping he wins to shut people up. I just love a good comeback story. That's what that's all about. There's no shaft riding. It's comeback stories. And Mark was left for dead for a lot of people after that shoulder injury. He just couldn't come back. And him getting off that Honda bike changed his life. So I'm hoping he wins at Coda. But I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Bez. I think it's long overdue for Bez. I love the guy, love who he is. Yeah. It's nice to see him and Jorge back. I like to see Jorge happy again, even though I'm not a fan of his little antics lately, of just the golden boy and shit like that. But, I want to see competitive racing. It was fun seeing Mark dominate and gap people, just because I'm a fan. But the way last race happened with Fabio, took it back, and I'm a Mark fan. But when Fabio took back his spot against Mark, I was like, fuck yeah, man. That's awesome. No one does that to Mark. So that was a win in Fabio in itself.
Yep.
To keep Mark at bay. To see stuff like that is awesome. Mark is going to go down as one of the GOATs. It's cemented unless he wants to keep chasing Rossi's record. That's going to be hard. Yeah, dude, I'm hoping Mark wins. You know, he owns Coda. I love his helmet this round. It looks amazing. The Aprilia livery is insane.
Sick, dude.
That's the one thing I love about Coda, man. Everything's Americanized, and I love it. And we give some shout outs to the country. And I wish I was there. Shout out to Kyle and all my local homies and Ken out there right now enjoying the show. I try to go every year. I really do. Work comes up, timings don't line up, and then finances. It's not a cheap trip to do it the right way. But I shit you not, I will be there within the next 2-3 years. I will make that a trip and a whole experience because you got to, man. Yeah, you got to, bro. What about you though?
Man, shoot, I've been to Coda. I haven't been there for the past 3 years, but before that, I was there for the past 7.
Nice.
Been to Laguna Seca 05, been to every MotoGP Indy race at Indy except for the last year, and up 10 million Moto America rounds, right? So, yeah, I think that for the MotoGP, man, I mean, listen, Bezzecchi's on this high, man. It's hard to take it away from him. Coda is Marc Marquez's track, but I kind of feel like the tide's turning. I feel like last year Marc dominated. I think this year we kind of see a tide where Rossi was, where he just wasn't as dominant as he used to be. It's not as easy for him to be there anymore. Mark's done changed his attitude and the way he talks and approaches racing. So it's that I just see this tide turning is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like these bike manufacturers all have their time to shine in a rotation. You know, for the longest it was Honda and Yamaha. Ducati was a joke. Now Ducati ruled it for the last how many years? Aprilia's coming up, KTM's right behind them. And it's nice to see Honda doing something. They're trying to make some. Yamaha, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just destroying careers. It's pissing me off. Fabio is such a talented rider. Pearls are not. That dude can ride his ass off. And if he's on a legit bike, I just wish he was on a more legit bike. But next year will be different, right? Next year is
850s.
And we're going to see more talent outdo the bikes.
Yep. Everybody on Pirellis. Yep.
It just runs away with it now. So, but yeah.
I agree, man. I absolutely agree. I think that, I mean, it's going to be a great weekend. Like I said, if Marquez don't win, dude, I'd love to see Bezzecchi, Jorge Martino, dude, Pedro Acosta, you know, top time sheets.
Because I thought he was a younger Mark, dude, aggressive as hell, a little sloppy, like his line, like he'll overtake and a little sloppy, but he's got a lot of Mark in him. He's got some cojones, and I love the first race of the year. You know what I mean? Like I love that. So it was good to see.
Yep, 110%. Well, listen, I know your battery's getting ready to die. I'm going to let you in the podcast, get over all your shout outs where everybody can find you to order everything from Chowski Moto. But first, I just want to say, listen, it was an honor to have you on. And if it wasn't for you and everybody that tunes in and listens and likes, subscribes, I would not be sitting here in this chair. So it's nothing but love to each and every single one of you. I say it all the time, and I really, really mean it. Thank you for everybody that joined in the chat today. This episode will be out here in about 30 minutes everywhere. I'll send you all the links, Jerome. Big shout out to all my friends at K-Tech Suspension. We got 2 programs in America that are absolutely the best programs we have, which is SFL Mini GP, South Florida, and in Jersey. That's where all our legends of the sport are been coming out for the past 10, 15 years. I got 2 friends that make the best undersuits in the world. The first one is my man Tate from 64 Degree Racing. He actually sent me 2 custom undersuits that I love and I wear all the freaking time. They're absolutely amazing. The second one is my girl Mama Aliki from Venom Sport. Again, you're not going to go wrong by ordering from either one of them. They're absolutely amazing products. For all my California friends out there that races CVMA and CRA, sign up for the Racer 401 program with my man Antley Terry. All my UK friends, you guys can go to theclothingkings.co.uk and order all your Pin to Gas podcast merch. I got 3 friends that make graphic kits in the industry. First one is Chris Crizel from Drippin' Wet. My second one is my man Reese Brody from REB Graphics.
Both great people.
Absolutely amazing people. And the third one is my man Gus Rodeo from GRG Designs. Again, you're not going to go wrong by ordering from either one of them. Nice. Big shout out to Vet2Track. Vet2Track.org is the website. It's a veterinarian owned. It is absolutely amazing. So I said veterinarian, vet owned, right? Veteran owned. So for all my vet friends out there, or if you have any vet friends that want to get involved in the motorcycles, man, hit up vet2track.org. It's absolutely amazing program. The last thing that I am going to say is, listen, support your local businesses in the industry. It's very important to do that. Keep it in the industry, keep it at the track. Don't order this shit off of Walmart, Target, Temu, none of that. I don't care if you save 15%. Most of my friends will match it or beat it, but that's not what it's about. It's about growing the industry. And the more you buy outside the industry, guess what? Our industry shrinking as it is. Keep it in the industry, people. It's very important. 110%. The last thing I will say is I will be at CMP April, the weekend before the Atlanta round. I'm actually going to be doing commentating for Azure that weekend. So I hope to see everybody there. We're going to have a great weekend. On that note, Jerome, it was an honor. The mic is all yours, my friend. Tell everybody where they can find you on all social medias and order from Chowski Moto.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you, Chris, for having me on. If this goes out when I'm done, I'm sorry, guys. But real quick, so we have the store. It's in Raleigh, NC, 500 South New Hope Road. It's on Google. Love for you to come out, check it out. It's not exactly where I want it, but it's at a point where you'll see what I'm doing. I have a Facebook group, Chowski's Apex. I started that to kind of just gather everybody that supported me, past, future, present, and also who loves MotoGP. Everything in between goes there. The website is coming. We're currently building it right now. We just wanted to get the store and get inventory up and do it the right way. So that'd be great. And then first shout out would be to my woman, because I know she's going to watch this, and without her, I'm not here. She's super successful on her own, and that allows me to not be head of the household and build a business the way she's built her own. She has her own spa in Cary called Divine. If you need massages or any type of body work, she specializes in that, especially PT work. That's where I go for all my kinks. But second would be Evolve GT. This is my third year doing trackside with them. That's where the business started. Hopefully that's where it's going to stay. So shout out to Evolve GT and Gabe for everybody, the support. Mario, all the coaches that support me and buy off me. Thank you guys. That's why I'm here. I'm actually packing up today to go there to NC Bike for the whole weekend. So if you see me there, come by. And then last but not least, man, all the companies that are jumping on board with me, and all the companies that jumped on board before I got the store because they saw what I was doing. It was a vision. It was a goal. It was tough to get here because everything comes from me, profit, everything. There's no business loans. Everything you see is I built it from the business and trying to keep a good reputation, good word, good business around. That's what I'm raised around. So any support you guys give me or any trackside vendors, it's like a golden ticket for us. We like to be appreciated. So if you want to do that, that'd be great. But outside of that, companies support me. Chris, everybody in the network that supports me, my track crew that go to track days with me, everybody that comes along and gets anything off of me, you're the reason I'm not slaving away in some UPS basement. Shout out to UPS though. They made me a good worker. I ain't gonna lie, man. That work ethic at UPS is bar none. It's drill sergeant, Marine Corps, you suck, work harder type mentality. Shout out to them. But nah, man, living the dream. Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully things get better and better. And you guys see me at track. I'm not hard to find. Come by, I'll take care of you. I'll do the best I can. When both sides win, that's when it's good business. So I appreciate everybody's support and hope to see you.
I love it, man. I love it. On that note, it's been an honor today to sit down with my man, Jerome Balachowski from Chowski Moto. Let's freaking go, people. Nah, dude, you're welcome. This episode, like I said, will be out here shortly. I'll tag you, send you all the links, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week.
All right, buddy. Be good.
All right, buddy. I'll shoot you a text.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Right. You too, my man.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.